Welcome back to the What's Cooking program, the nation's food, wine, restaurant, and travel show. Michael Horn along with Paul Stern, Lindsay Lohan, heading into the courthouse, into jail with a black leather jacket and jeans. That's not a bad outfit. That'll go up in sales. And the judge apparently saying, look, sometimes it has a little tough love here, and this is a wake-up call. You violated your probation, and you are going to jail for 90 days. So Lindsay being carted off to jail.
You know, on kind of a serious note, a lot of people kind of make it a little bit of light out of the Lindsay Lohan situation, but I believe what she's accused of is driving while under the influence and the issues that arose out of situations like that. And I happen to reading in the paper, and probably a name that maybe not too many people in our audience are familiar with, but the name Jilly Rizzo. I was reading a story about he was like a longtime friend of Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Jilly. He used to talk about Jilly all the time.
He had I guess a club.
Jilly's.
Jilly's in New York City, and he was living out in Palm Springs. And on I guess the evening or the eve of his 75th birthday, he was just basically driving home. I think from like one of the local country clubs. And he got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh, no.
And he was killed. He burnt to death.
Oh, my gosh, that's terrible.
And now the guy that was responsible for this accident, he's been incarcerated for like 30 years, and now he's basically pleading forgiveness and to be let out of the slammer. And of course, there are those.
How long has he served?
He served like some 30 years or so behind bars, and it's one of those things there.
Tough one.
You know, no matter how sorry you are after something like that happens, you can't really make amends for the damage that you've done.
I always say, try to think before you act, and sometimes, obviously, accidents can happen, but in a case like this, you got to be able to think. And if the guy was drinking and did this is the worst nightmare you could possibly have.
And he was one of those guys that had many prior convictions.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
So
and they turned the other cheek in those days. They don't now, and that's why this is a serious thing. When you're talking about Lindsay Lohan, ties it right in. And you got to get some tough love and say, look, we mean business about this. Whether you're a celebrity or not, you got to have responsibility. It's a key word on today's show, responsibility.
I mean, you can go ahead and drink your alcohol and do what it is that you want to do, but just don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why I like it when you drive.
Thank you, Mike.
Then I can drink.
Thank you. I kind of say the same thing, too, vice versa.
Yeah, and if you're the driver, you got to be conscious of the fact you're going to drive.
It's nice to have a designated driver.
It is. It really is. It's very nice. And that should be something new, and I'm sure it'll go into law here soon, but it's probably going to be a good law if they put. Mel Gibson certainly could use one. We saw that.
He just needs a designated everything. Forget that just a driver. He needs everything.
Let's see if it's even him on the tapes. I mean, it obviously looks like it, but TMZ is saying they're not sure it's him, and it's like these. What website had it at first? This guy's
Radar Online.
Those guys have been shooting way up in popularity now, and TMZ is going down, and it's like there's a big fight about this, and the Perez Hilton site over there, so they're it's like the old radio wars going on.
Claudia here at the office, she goes to something called Huffington Post.
No, she just prints everything out. I'm just kidding, Claudia, just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Paris Hilton, when she went to jail, she did it in the dead of night. Lindsay Lohan went more for the spectacle and went in during the day. Just went in there and the paparazzi could get all their pictures. All right, that's our show. If you miss anything, we'll have all the links on our website from our guest at animalplanet.com. You can check out Whale Wars.
Sounds like a good one.
By the way, soon we'll have a list of canceled guests for you to peruse over, of people that you might have thought you heard on the show that didn't actually show. We'll put those up on the website as well. CRNTalk.com is the website. Hey, thank you all for joining us. We're here every day at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, the What's Cooking Show with Eric Hines, Jack Roberts, Paul Stern, and yours truly, Michael Horn. On behalf of the entire staff and our producer, Claudia McMahon, and all the people that put this show together, I think I just mentioned them all, the thousands of others that should be here on the broadcast. On behalf of all those, thank you for joining us, and eat well, everybody.